You look like you haven't slept in 2 days. This one's on me." She slid the cup across the counter before he could reach for his wallet. A large, dark roast, no frills, exactly what his face had asked for without his mouth saying a word. The man looked at her, then at the cup, then back at her with the particular expression of someone who hasn't been offered something for free in so long that kindness feels unfamiliar. "I can pay," he said quietly. "I know you can," said Darcy Lorne. "I just don't want you to." He took the cup with both hands, the way you hold something warm when warmth is what you actually needed, and found a stool at the far end of the counter. He sat with the coffee for a long time, not rushing, not scrolling his phone, just drinking it slowly in the gray 6:30 light of a Tuesday morning in Harlow Falls, Ohio. His name was Colt Brever, 33 years old. He'd been driving freight routes for 9 years, long haul, mostly overnight, the kind of work that pays adequately and costs privately. He was 2 days into a 3-state run, behind schedule because of a mechanical delay in Kentucky, running on 4 hours of broken sleep and a gas station sandwich that hadn't done what sandwiches are supposed to do. He had stopped at Birch and Brew, a small 2-table coffee shop wedged between a tire shop and an insurance office on Route 7, because the lights were on and he was too tired to drive another mile without something real in his hands. Darcy Lorne was 26. She had been opening Birch and Brew at 5:45 every morning for 2 years, working for its owner, a kind older woman named Harriet, who'd built the place from nothing and now ran it with a staff of 1, Darcy, because that was all the budget allowed. Darcy made the pastries, brewed the coffee, handled the register, wiped the tables, and locked up at 2. She earned enough to cover her rent and her mother's monthly prescription costs, and almost nothing beyond that. She had a business administration certificate from the community college, a notebook full of ideas she'd never acted on, and the particular quiet dignity of someone who has made peace with a life that is harder than it should be. She gave away a free coffee maybe once a week, not as policy, just when someone walked in wearing the kind of tired that money couldn't explain. Colt had worn it completely that morning. He came back the following Tuesday, same time, same stool, same large dark roast, which he paid for this time, plus $1 in the tip jar, and a nod that communicated more than a longer conversation might have. Darcy noticed he looked marginally less hollowed out. She didn't comment, she just made the coffee right. He came back the Tuesday after that, and the one after that. By the 4th week, they talked, carefully at first, the way strangers talk when they're both private people who have learned that openness has a cost. He told her about the routes, the loneliness of long haul, the way you could drive through 10 states and feel like you'd seen nothing but asphalt and your own thoughts. She told him about the shop, about Harriet, about the prescription costs, and the notebook of ideas. "What kind of ideas?" he asked. She hesitated, then, "Logistics, actually. Supply chain for small regional businesses. There are 30 independent shops within 40 miles of here that pay premium rates to third-party distributors for things they could source locally and move cheaper if someone built the right network." She said it carefully, like something she'd thought about so many times it had worn smooth. "I've mapped it out. I just don't have the capital or the connections." Colt looked at his coffee cup. Something shifted in his face. Quiet, internal, the kind of shift that doesn't announce itself. "You mapped it out," he said.
"In my notebook." "Yeah." He was quiet for a moment. "Can I see it sometime?" She looked at him. "Why?" "Because I've been driving freight for 9 years," he said simply, "and I've thought about the same problem from the other end." She showed him the notebook the following week, 3 pages of hand-drawn maps, supply chain sketches, cost comparisons. He studied it for a long time without speaking. When he looked up, his expression was careful and serious. "This is good, Darcy. This is actually really well thought through." "It's just a notebook," she said. "A notebook is where everything starts." He paused. "I want to tell you something. I haven't told many people." He looked at the counter for a moment. "I've been saving for 6 years, not because I had a plan, just because the route life leaves much to spend it on. 8 months ago, I put an offer in on a small regional freight company that was restructuring. It went through in March." He looked up. "I own 7 trucks now. I'm building a dispatch network for exactly the kind of regional supply chain you've drawn here." Darcy stared at him. "You're not a trucker," she said slowly. "I'm still a trucker. I just also own the company now." A pause. "I kept driving the routes because I didn't know how to stop, and because I learned more from a cab seat than from a boardroom." He met her eyes. "I've been looking for someone who understands the problem from the shop side, someone who sees the gap from the ground up." The silence between them was the kind that changes things. "Colt," she said carefully, "I gave you a free coffee because you looked tired." "I know. That's the part I keep thinking about." What followed was not immediate or dramatic. It was slow, careful, and honest, the way real things are built. Darcy took 3 weeks to review his proposal, asked pointed questions, brought in a small business advisor she trusted, and negotiated terms that gave her genuine equity and genuine authority, not a courtesy title. She gave her notice to Harriet with a full month's transition, helped train the replacement, and left Birch and Brew on a Friday afternoon with Harriet's arms around her and a paper bag of pastries for the road. She joined Brever Regional Logistics as Director of Merchant Partnerships, a role she had essentially designed herself, built around the notebook she'd kept for 2 years on a barista's wage. On her first official morning, Colt set a large dark roast on her desk. She looked at it, then at him. "You look like you haven't slept in 2 days," she said quietly. "This one's on me." He laughed, a real one, the kind that takes up space, and she understood in that moment that the cup she'd given a tired stranger on a gray Tuesday morning had not been a small thing. It had been the beginning of something neither of them could have predicted, built on nothing more complicated than the decision to see a person and offer them warmth without asking what it was worth. That's all kindness ever is, and it is never small. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Let's spread more stories of kindness and hope together.